Howdy everybody, what's up? My name's Sabina, I'm the Left-Handed Alchemist, and welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited to share with you the beginning of a new series that we will be doing over the course of the rest of this year. I have been thinking about my artistic practice and what it has looked like and what it is turning into and how it is just a constant evolution. And the place that I have been able to be the most free for that evolution to take place is in my sketchbooks and in my journals. And so I went through the archives and I pulled out 11 of my journals and sketchbooks that I have been keeping since, we'll see, 2012. So over a decade of sketchbooks and journals that catalog my artistic life from a adolescent to a full-grown woman. I am a full-grown woman, and I started making these journals and keeping these journals when I was around 16, 17 years old. So there's a lot of personal evolution that takes place within these books. And I've recently fallen down the rabbit hole of like stationery and sketchbook tours. And I was so inspired. I wanted to do my own. Over the course of the next 11 months or so, I will be releasing one sketchbook tour a month. And it'll be just like a fun little journey and evolution for us to go on together. And I think that sounds really cute and fun. So this is video one in a series of sketchbook tours. Follow along if you're interested in seeing the personal evolution of me as an artist. And I don't know, maybe it'll inspire you to keep your own sketchbook or to open yours again or to just confirm that you're on the right path, that keeping a sketchbook is worth the time and effort. It's not something that you have to like make super regimented. It's not something that you have to even go to every single day. If it is, cool. If it's not, whatever. It's your practice, and your practice should look like something that supports you in your artistic endeavors, whatever that may be. So let's get into the video. Our first sketchbook is this beautiful book. The story of this, I feel like, is very important to tell, so let's get into it. Where I grew up, there was this thing called Governor's School. I grew up in Virginia, so maybe you know about it. It's basically like a specialized learning for different aspects of education. So in my high school, there was Gov School for kids who were, I would say, like the gifted and talented program, kind of, but it was very much directed towards math and science. But there were summer residency programs for different kinds of education and different, schools within education. And there was an art one. There was a summer art residency at Radford University where you would basically go and live at Radford in the dorms. I can't remember if it was 1 month or 2 months. I want to say it was 1 month because we were all minors. We were all either going into junior or senior year of high school. The summer going into my senior year of high school, I was accepted into the program. So I go and I spend a month at Radford, and there is a drawing and painting class, there's a ceramics class, and there's a silversmithing class. I don't know if that school informed the mediums that I chose or if those just happened to be the mediums that I work in, but if I only could work in 3 mediums again for the rest of my life, it would be those 3. I would severely miss fibers, but they're just like great mediums. In the painting and drawing class, we did a little segment on bookbinding. The first thing that we did was basically learn about the importance of keeping a sketchbook. And so we were given the task to make our own sketchbooks. And it's these, we'll see more as we get into the sketchbook itself, the construction of it. But here on the side, there's some aspects that are sewn. I've had to tape it over the years because it's been a very well-used sketchbook. And then we were given creative freedom to decorate it as we see fit. So here's the back, here's the front. I chose to do a collage. I just have always really loved collaging. We cut all of the paper, we did all the folios, and yeah, this is just where I let inspiration kind of run at this time in my life. I apologize in advance about the lighting. I'm in a situation where I cannot control the sun. This is the first sketchbook where I really let go and I allow myself to create freely. And this sketchbook spans over several years. So I think I even have some pages that I did when I was in college. This was established in June of 2013. Here we have some shopping lists and a bill for when I lived at that house. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 folios in here. So a folio is basically like the folds of paper that we sewed into the book. And we're just gonna go through it now. If I have, like, I'll just slowly turn the pages, and if I have any comments or thoughts, I will share them. But for the most part, this is like the inner world of a, how old would I be at this time? 2013. I'm 17. This is when I'm 17. So I'm a teenager. This is before I really understand some of my own mental illness. This is before I understand anything about my family dynamic. And I will just say, like, these first few sketchbooks are sad, but I think that it's how I worked through some of these issues. And so I'm forever grateful for these spaces. I can hardly stand myself, so what am I to you? I am alone, but I'm not lonely. No, it's nothing personal. I prefer to do things on my own. And even though nobody knows me, no, I'm not lonely. I'm raw and invincible. John O'Callaghan, The Main. Man, that album was so sad, but God, it spoke to my little depressed heart. Okay, let's get into it. I played a lot with watercolor and ink. That was like my main medium at this time. Another The Main quotes. Loved it. I wanted that tattooed on my body for a very long time. I never ended up doing it. And I will say, if you see anything that's like severely sad or personal, like, we're just gonna go for it. I'll edit some of the more personal things out in the late, like some of these other sketchbooks, because they are, like I said, I used some of these sketchbooks also as journals before I really started like my dedicated journaling practice, and it gets a little sad. Okay, so here's like my dedication page to governor school, my acceptance letter. This was like a big thing for me. It kind of proved like I can do anything. And it started me down this path towards reckless, delusional thinking that in some ways has been crippling and in some ways has gotten me on this path that I'm on, honestly. I'm not afraid of my creativity. And I think that opportunities like this have helped me solidify that I don't need to be ashamed of my creative energy. I think also my place in society and my time that I'm being born. I'm really thankful that I don't live in a time where a woman's only task is to marry a man and take care of him. So we just like have some collages. I was doing a lot of collaging at this time. I remember I was also playing with gender in a way I didn't really understand. I always really wanted like a short pixie cut. But when I got my first short pixie cut, I looked like a straight up little boy. I didn't know how to style it. I was wearing a lot of boy clothes. And I like think of this and I just think of like how hurt I was by the conservative motherfuckers in my hometown who bullied me relentlessly, calling me gay and telling me I was going to hell because I had a short haircut. So I grew my hair out really long down to my butt. I always really longed to have short hair, and I didn't fulfill that until I got much older, in my 20s, and I shaved my head, and I was so free. I loved that time in my life, but I also hated it because I was going through a lot emotionally, and you don't just like shave your head on a whim because you're doing well, am I right? Although I kept my hair shaved for months because it felt so good. I felt so free. Anyway, this is obviously after Gov School was over. Oh, so this is funny. I watched a lot of Scrubs. You know, like the sentiment, like sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Yeah, in Scrubs, they say sticks and stones may break my bones, and then JD in his head goes, but words will hurt forever. And I just felt like that was so real. Like, who really listens to somebody cut them down and then is unaffected by it? Like, words are so, like, stones can bruise and hurt you, but your skin will heal. Words can damage somebody for the rest of their lives. And I think that when you share your voice and share your words with the world, you have to be really careful because you do hold power in a way that's like really weird. You just don't think about how your words can really cut people and harm them. I saw the Maine at the 9:30 Club on July 6th, and I don't know. I was in DC. My mom and I would go to a bunch of the main shows. I talk about it a little bit in the 8123 video that I posted on my channel, if you guys want to see that. Favorite band, they kept me alive, honestly. I had a big crush on John O'Callaghan. I currently don't have a crush. Like, it's not, like, weird anymore, but obviously when I was a 17-year-old girl, I'm lusting after, like, how old would he have been? I don't even know. I really don't even know what our age gap is anymore. I think it's, like, 8 or 9 years. Because I had these things, like, planned out in my head, right? Like, I was going to marry him, and we were like, going to have, like, this beautiful life together. And it's so funny looking at this picture. They all look so young. Because they were. Like, I don't know. Anyway. I'm at a swim meet, and it's so hot. Someone kill me now. Dear God. Oh, I remember drawing this. I had a huge crush on this other swimmer, and I was, like, so angsty about it. For a living? Why can't I just sit and eat for a living? Oh, that's still relevant, honestly. It's sad to see someone who... Oh, this is... Okay, so this is, like, a little... Oh, I'm kind of embarrassed to, like, share this with you, but I was, like... One thing about me is I'll have a crush. Like, I will have a crush on just about anybody. If you're mildly attractive or interesting to me, I have a crush on you. And I will never say a word to you. It's, like, totally a crush built out of fantasy, which, as an adult, like, I realize that that's, like, fun and okay and innocent. But at the time, when you're a 17-year-old girl, angst. Oh my God, I was so angsty. I loved this boy, but I never really spoke to him or, like, tried to be a part of his life. I think part of, like, the fantasy of it, too, is the person that I get to create in my head about who these people are. I watched this guy I had a crush on for years turn to drugs and alcohol instead of, like, dealing with his problems, which, I mean, it's 17, 18, you know, you just maybe don't have the tools to do that. So I watched this guy. I was also, like, really judgmental about weed and alcohol when I was at this point. Like, the war on drugs got me too, you guys. I lived in a super conservative Christian town, Southern Baptist town, and that culture, even though I actively was not a Christian, that culture, it, like, gets in you, you know, just by existing around these types of people. So I saw weed and alcohol as, like, the devil's playground. I really thought that, like, not even once and you'd be addicted. And I watched this guy, like, totally throw his life away to drugs and alcohol. And I was so sad about it, I had to write about it at a swim meet. 48 states, and I don't actually know what that says. I really loved cursive at this time in my life, apparently, and these weird shaped heads. I'm not going to read all of this journaly stuff, but I think at this time, I'm, like, falling in love with Arizona. I don't know at what point I go to visit Arizona State, but my mom and I go. I might have still been in gov school when I was making some of this. I don't really know, honestly. I don't wish to be the symbol of anything. I'm only myself. That's kind of cool. Damn, Sabina, you had some insight. I think this was just me venting about this boy I had a crush on. Yeah, feelings suck. Fuck this. I love the F word, honestly. I still love it, and at this time, I don't know, like, couldn't get enough. Yeah, I start to use this as a journal. You can pause and read it if you can. I'm not going to sit here and, like, go through it. I start to work through a lot about self-worth. At this time in my life, I'm hanging out with these group, like this, I'm hanging out with this, whose handwriting is this? It's like, it's me, but my handwriting is so different. I'm hanging out with this group of guys and a couple girls who are in a band. And I think part of it is I wanted to be in this band. Like, I wanted to be a singer, but I was not confident enough to actually do it. So I would just hang out with them. And then I, at some point, had a crush on just about everybody in the band. And so I would sit there while they were at practice and wish that I was actually the singer. I would wish I would wish that I was a singer and think about how much I hated myself because I felt very unworthy. You know, in hindsight, I have the information to know that I was in an abusive family. So I just like inherently believed I was worthless because why would your parents treat you so poorly if you were worth anything? You know what I'm saying? Like the love a parent gives a child is very important for the development of themselves. If I hurt myself every time I thought about it, I would look as damaged as I feel. She was so sad. Like, my heart physically hurts for this girl. Sandy can kiss my ass. I'm really fucking unhappy. I'm not anymore, but that bear is pretty cool drawing. I feel nothing, and yet I feel everything. I feel the way I don't tolerate people anymore. I feel the longing to have someone to call mine. I feel the hate that burns deep inside. Not hate for anyone other than me. I hate myself more than anyone can imagine. I feel that I should be nice to Joey. That's a friend from school. Sorry, Joey, if you're watching this. I feel that I want to reach out and get a boyfriend. I mostly feel sad. At the same time, I feel nothing. No care that someone is mad at me. Sorry, Joey. At this time, I was clearly mad at you. No care for anyone but myself. I feel nothing, and that scares me. I'm not suited to be with someone. I'm not good enough. If I can't love myself, why would anyone have me? I'm worthless. I'm nothing. You know, I would say that mentality really affected my relationships throughout many, 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 many years. I'm going to struggle with this for another 10 years. Even sometimes I still feel like I'm not good enough. But I would get into relationships and then I would immediately break up with them because I thought that I would poison people and that I would be the reason why someone like was unhappy and hated life. So I would like let myself fall in love just enough to like kiss and then immediately break up with them if it ever felt like it was getting too serious. And that's on fearful avoidant attachment style. Fast forward, we have this interesting pen drawing of a parrot. I was just really getting into like these Zen tangles at the time. You can see some of my jewelry designs starting to like come about. I worked on this lion drawing for weeks. I would do a little bit and then I'd take pictures and I'd have people critique it and then I'd do more. And here it is now, and like I still think it's probably one of the best drawings I've ever done. I haven't sat down and worked this hard on a drawing in a long time. Maybe I should. Oh, this owl too. I remember getting in trouble for working on this in class. That's funny. Because I wasn't listening. Like I straight up just like was not listening to what the teacher was saying. But once again, I'd be intrigued to go back and draw these things again and to see how my skills have evolved since then. So here we have more like journaly, doodly things. I think at one point there was like a magazine overlaid over that, but it kind of fell out. I would practice drawing real things. I really, really wanted to do the graphic design for the band that I was friends with. So I drew a bunch of pictures that nobody ever gave a shit about because I thought maybe they would be good enough to be t-shirts, but whatever. I hated myself a lot, so I never really tried that hard, honestly. But I did, like, I say that, but like these are pretty good considering I was 17 and I didn't have any formal training yet. Like in Gov School, we didn't do any still life drawing like this. This was just something that I just did. I didn't start doing more still life until college, and even then I haven't been doing it since college. I love this. I remember being so sad and just pouring it into this page. And now I have no desire to read what's on the page, but I just know that like there was part of me that had this connection to something, this insight to something. Because why would a 17-year-old even have the insight to know I'm just growing up? Like, I really let something flow through me. And I look at this doodle and I just don't think when I was doodling this, I was thinking about how it was ever going to be seen. I was just doing it. And I really miss creating like that. And I've started creating like that again And I'll show you guys later, but when I sit down and doodle nowadays, it feels more like this. Like, I remember this feeling. And it was so free. People have always been something I've not been great at drawing. And I have to be honest, I like tried to develop this style, this like weird emaciated style. Why did all my people look like that? But I have not since been... Oh. Wait. Stop. We had these groups of friends, and it just like was so fun. We would do debauchery and crazy things, but this is so sweet. Like, someone wrote me a handwritten note. I don't have friends like this anymore, and it kind of hurts. Like, I think about this, and like, I really took that for granted. I just didn't know what adulthood was going to be like, and my avoidant tendencies have gotten worse if I've gotten older. Here I'm really starting to get into some jewelry. At this point in my life, I'm deciding where I'm going to college. It was VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, or Arizona State University. VCU at the time was ranked like the #1 art school, public art school in the country, and I got in. It was an in-state school. So I felt like I would miss an opportunity by not going to the best. But I had a soul calling for Arizona. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I had to get away from my fucking crazy ass family. And Arizona was as far away as I could get. And I don't regret it. Some ceramics ideas I never made. And we're going into folio number 3.
Aw, kitty. Kitty cat. Kitty cat.
I think that sucks, but it doesn't suck. It's pretty good. It's just maybe not what I envisioned. I think at this point I'm in college. Yeah, because I got this tattooed on my shin. Okay, so now we're officially in college, because that's an Arizona #2, and I have no idea. Don't call that number. Like I mentioned, I love fantasy. I think I was a maladaptive fantasy kind of person. I would create whole lives with people that I maybe have only ever said 3 words to. And I think it was maladaptive at the time, but it actually maybe also kept me alive, because I think that sometimes fantasy can be a place we can escape to when life is not going the way we want it to. At this point in my college career, I'm starting to recognize like something's not going well, something's not working. Because I'm away from my parents, I'm away from my family, and I thought that that would just be enough. But actually, the space gave me a lot of room to start grieving and a lot of space to start healing, because your body will just like naturally heal a lot on its own, honestly. And so I was really very depressed. Like, I went on medication for a while. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I had to do it. Kind of made me feel like a zombie, but I had to do it so that I wouldn't unalive myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who I was fantasizing about, but I feel like that is just so real. Oh my gosh, the Phoenix Art Museum. That place is the tits. I don't remember this trip, but I went, oh, I have that somewhere. If I ever find this when I finally move into a house, I'll pull it out and show you guys. Okay, I need to put this back. I made a cat out of wire. My mom has it. That's the sketch for that. This was for 3D design in my first semester of college. Who the fuck is Kenny? Oh my God. Okay, so I took this class. It was for foam carving. I don't even know if you guys can fully see Miss Kitty. Oh, she's so cool. Okay, so I had a scholarship to go to Arizona State. And part of that required me to have a certain GPA and a certain number of credit hours every semester. And one of my classes I had to drop. And so I had to take a summer class. And oh my God, I wish I could go and take that class right now. It was so much fun. It was a foam carving class. It was this guy who would make these like foam sculptures for movies and stores and like Disney, like amusement parks. So it's some kind of, it was really grainy. Like there's even residue of the foam on this paper, but it's this really kind of grainy, hard, but also very sculptable foam where you could use knives and like ceramic trimming tools to carve this foam. And I made this like 3 foot tall cat that had all these eyeballs in the back. And I'm so, I just was young and careless and depressed and kind of going through my own thing. And like also young. And for a lot of this time in my life, I had like a bedroom to myself. So I ended up, man, I got rid of it like a couple years ago because it was just destroyed. If it wasn't destroyed, I would have kept it. But I made this cat. It was navy blue. If I can find pictures, I will insert it because at this point, I was pretty good about taking pictures of everything. So what you did was you carved the foam and then you made this like hard shell over the top of it with this resin, this 2-part resin and fiberglass. Like you dipped sheets of fiberglass into resin and coated the outside of this foam to give it like a really hard shell. And this is what this artist would do for like, I think he showed us, he would do these like big sculptures like for like Build-A-Bear, like the life-size hard sculptures that you see at like mall stores or Disney or whatever. Like they would hire artists for that. And this is the guy who would do it and his team of people and probably his students then after. And it was so fun. Oh my God, that was so fun. My mom actually still has one of the little samples that I created. I did a cat and a cactus. And so I did a couple samples of the cactus before I did the final thing. So then like after that, it's pretty easy to like sand. You use like Bondo to like fill gaps and make everything smooth and nice. And then you can sand it and sculpt in details and then you paint it. And with painting, you can like, you even have to like use value and shading and tone and stuff to push the sculpture. Oh my God, it was so fun. I wish I could do it again right now. It's so messy. It's one of those things that, like, you're not going to just like do it unless you have a reason. So I don't know, maybe like doing it for a video could be a reason. Sometimes I still think about this fox drawing that like pops up in my head. Little ferret. I might still have the drawing of the ferret somewhere. I ended up doing a bunch of littler drawings of that ferret. Oh man. Okay. This deity of emotion. What the heck? Okay, so this was from a fibers class in college. I was such a bitch in that class. I'm so sorry. If the teacher for this class is watching that, I'm sorry. God. I have no excuses. I was a terrible person in college. I felted this blob, and then I asked a bunch of people, what are people overly emotional about? Like, what do you feel attached to? What's something you can't live without? And so I felted these objects into this like blob. I don't know. I was trying to be conceptual because my teacher was like, everything has to have concept, but I was like, I just want to weave like a cat head into a bag because it's fucking cute, not because it's like some deeper meaning about life. It's just like, I want this bag, so I'm gonna make it. I do have that cat head bag somewhere. If I ever find it, I'll show you guys. Oh, I still have this fish too. I created a copper fish. A lot of my stuff is in storage. As I've mentioned before, I actually am living at my in-laws' house until we find our own place. Oh, I made this out of steel. I welded this. It was like 4 fucking feet tall. I threw it in the trash. Once again, if I lived more locally or like had my own place that wasn't just a 1-bedroom in a house filled with other girls, I would have kept a lot more of my college art. But it was like, what do you do with a 4 foot by 2 foot? It might have even been bigger than that, sculpture that lays flat. Like, I just threw it away. I thought about doing this, but the project was to take a famous painting and then bend 1/4-inch steel rod and weld it together. It was for a welding class. I did learn how to weld. Oh my God, what the hell? I think someone wanted me to draw them a tattoo, and that was what I came up with. And I was like, you shouldn't get this tattooed on you. I'm so sorry. You should actually like talk to a tattoo artist. And then they never replied. Look at those titties. God. Fish, 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 fish. Oh. That cat is cool. That's a cool looking cat. Oh, here's the back of that cat. Oh my God. I need to draw a cat again sometime soon. I would just love cats. Oh my God. Oh. Oh, this is like... Sorry, that's the fridge. So I guess I really did use this all throughout college. I took a 20th century art history class where we had to go to the Phoenix Art Museum and pick an artist who was within the certain criteria of the class and sit in front of it and draw it and come up with like as many descriptive words as possible to basically write an analysis paper. And this was my drawing. I sat in front of this painting and drew it and analyzed it and then wrote a paper about it and made a whole presentation. And this was from Neon. I was working through my dad being an alcoholic and treating us like shit and kind of breaking free from that. But I think I sat in my victimhood for a long time. It's all right. Art was therapy there for me for a while. Bending neon tubes was hard. Whoa. When did I draw these cows? Did I draw? Yeah, I did. This one. Oh. Look at how beautiful they are. I think that might be it. I think that might be it for this one. I'll show you guys the other, like the front and the back of the sketchbook, because I'm fairly positive. Yeah. There's basically one whole untouched folio, but I think at this point, I decided that I was done with the sketchbook. It was starting to get kind of delicate, like starting to fall apart. And it had spanned the course of so many years of my artistic practice that it kind of became like it felt like a natural conclusion. Yes, there's one folio that's been wasted, but it feels done to me. Okay. Once again, I must have really liked Ayn Rand. And the eyes on this cat are like, why does he look like a person? What the hell? Okay. There's a collage I did. Oh, I must not have done the back. That's a missed opportunity, Sabina. You should be mean to yourself about that. And the back. Well, that's sketchbook number 1 of 11. I'll just be releasing each sketchbook in its own video so that these videos don't get too long. If you enjoyed watching that, like this video, subscribe if you want to see the rest of them. Leave a comment. Let me know which drawing you like the best. Tell me what you think about any of it. I'm interested in hearing your opinion. If you want to support this channel, like I said, like, subscribe, leave a comment. All of that is free. You can find the link to all of my offerings in the description. I'll have a link tree that will link you to whatever I'm offering at the time you find this video. I have a lot of art for sale on my website if you want to support financially and receive a piece of art from me for you to enjoy and have a part of your collection. That would be cool, but if not, no pressure. Social media, whatever. I don't really know what I'm using at this time that you're finding this video. And yeah, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you return for the other videos in the series. I'm really enjoying going down memory lane, and it's kind of inspiring. And I think I might have to revisit some of these themes. So it's pretty cool. Till next time, my friends. Bye.